Hey guys, Drew Kirby here with American Hard Enduro. It's a couple weeks after TKO. We haven't put anything out since TKO. Been a little busy trying to catch up on life. I'm joined tonight by Will Preston. Will, what's going on?
What's going on, Drew? I'm just trying to recover from our little ride today. Got a little shin bruise that's kind of killing me, but other than that, I'm doing good.
Oh, it was a good ride for sure. So we're also joined by Factory Rieju USA rider Quinn Wentzel. Quinn, what's going on?
Oh, not too much. Just in the swing of things, getting ready to host a race here soon.
Well, that's really what we want to talk about. What are we, like a week and a half away?
Yeah, week and a half out, pretty much. September 14th and 15th. So yeah, we're getting down to it.
All right. Well, before we get to the Lightning Strikes Hard Enduro, I didn't even realize there's still 4 East rounds left of the U.S. Hard Enduro Series, starting with you guys. Then they're going out, I think, JoJo's race in Arkansas, up to Michigan, and then back to another race in Ohio. So let's talk TKO. Will, what were your thoughts? It's our 5th dry TKO, dry and dusty. They can't control the weather, but, man, what'd you think of it?
I'll try to hold back a little bit, but obviously, I thought it was a rough hair scramble on Saturday. I didn't do very well. I didn't make it out of Saturday, so I can't speak to what Sunday was like. But yeah, it was so dusty. It was powdery, loose front end. You know, hero traction for hill climbing and stuff, but wasn't my cup of tea, so to speak. But it is what it is.
Well, and they did a lot more single track than they've done in the past. And like the whole left side of the mountain was a little tight and notchy. The right side got good. And then for the pro day, they added Easy Creek, which anyone that's done SEER remembers that creek. And we went all the way to the top in the first race. And it was the easiest it's ever been. I mean, normally it probably takes me 45 minutes, and we went up at like 10. And so I only made the first race on Saturday. I think I ended up 50th overall. And then, Quinn, you made it all the way to the final, ended up P19. So not a bad weekend.
You meant Sunday.
I meant Sunday. You are right.
Yeah, it was a good weekend for me. I can't complain too much. Obviously, I like it to be pretty tough, and it wasn't that tough, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe that means I'm getting faster in the fast stuff, so that might be good for me. I don't know, but yeah, it was dry and dusty, and it was just I've never seen the TTC like that before.
Well, I mean, the rocks weren't even sweating. It was so dry. Like I couldn't believe how much traction was in the flat creeks that are normally. I mean, it's all you can do to stand up.
Yeah, I always tell people, I say, no matter how dry it is, TTC is always slippery. And I think I have to revoke that statement finally, because it was not slippery anywhere.
Well, I talked to some guys that were down there. I think some of the track workers, they were down there like Monday, Tuesday before the race, and they said the creeks were still slick, and then it must have just dried up so much more, obviously, because we haven't had rain. We've had 1 day of rain since then. It's hero dirt up here. But so one thing they did add for the Pro Hot Lap and then in the final event, went up, we call it Graham Jarvis Hill. I don't know what it is. Big downhill. And then they added a pretty good off-camber switchback hill. What'd you think of that? I mean, if it was wet, I think it would have been a parking lot. But I know I wouldn't have gone up it if it was wet. But what'd you think of that addition?
Yeah, that was good. I think that was like the showstopper of the whole main, like the whole pro course, Without that, it would have been pretty much just like a moto loop for everybody. Yeah, it was good. I mean, it slowed everybody down through some excitement in the mix. I never had like a crazy amount of trouble with it. I made it all the way up a few times, and then I had to switch back it a few times, and there was just no run at the bottom, so it made it really like hard to get a run, and the dirt was so dry and loose, so it was really hard you couldn't really tractor up it. Like as soon as you lost your momentum, that was it. But yeah, it was a good addition. Good spot, good for the spectators. So I liked it.
Well, yeah, one thing, Will and I were lucky. We were doing some announcing, so we were right there on the course. And one thing we noticed, there was 2 Riejus in the final. Pretty much every brand, I think, was represented, except maybe Beta, unless I'm missing somebody. But it was cool to see so many bikes out there for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I was stoked to make it in there, and yeah, to be in with Alfredo was cool. So Yeah, I was happy, and you know, I like I said in my post, I wouldn't be super stoked with 19th usually, but I was like actually pretty excited to even just be in the main with those guys, and like just being on even the fourth row, and Graham Jarvis was back there, and like Cooper Abbott, and like some good guys still. So it was
Well,
yeah, it was gnarly.
you had a really good battle in the top 30 race.
Mhm.
Who was it? Carson Brown, and who else were you battling with?
Yeah, Carson Brown, Josh Roper, were the two guys I was battling with, and then also in my row was Alfredo and Colton and uh, Matt Green. So it
Okay,
was
that's a
stacked.
solid
Every
group.
row was stacked. So yeah,
Yeah. Well, I knew that you, Carson, and Roper were. It came down to like the last few hundred yards, didn't it?
yeah, it was pretty close. It was mostly between me and Roper, but I crashed off the start and got dusted out, and and we had Roper, so we had 6 on our row because
Yeah.
he made it through that straight rhythm deal. So yeah, I was stuck behind Carson, who was shredding the single track and just busted me out big time. And like as soon as we'd get to a rock area, I'd catch up to him, and then he'd take off again. But anyway, got around him and got around Josh, and then I was like, all right, I'm home free. Just keep it on 2 wheels. And like next thing I know, Josh catches me like out of the blue in the rock sections. And for those that don't know Josh, he's a pro trials rider, so
Yeah.
he was like just shredding through the rocks, feet on the pegs, and like usually that's me. Usually I do better in the rocks, but um, he's even better trials rider than I am. So he was catching me in the hard stuff, and I would catch him in the fast stuff. So again, I'm not known for my speed, so it was like a complete opposite deal. And so yeah, we went back and forth I think 6 times between
Wow.
like that big hill climb in the middle of the race with the log at the top. I'd
Yep.
say that was roughly like halfway, and so between there and the finish, we went back and forth like 6 times, and I was starting to get worried. Like I was pushing hard, and all the way on the other side, right about where Lampkin Falls is. I was like, okay, they're gonna send us up Lampkin Falls. They do every year, and I was like, Josh is gonna pass me in here probably, and we never went up it, and so I passed him in the single track, and I just tried to lay some dust down, and yeah, he finished like I don't know 40 seconds behind me maybe. So it was a
Okay.
little stressful getting into the main, but
I think we saw you going up the kindergarten, the waterfall section, and you guys were kind of battling through there, and
yep.
Josh looked really good. So
Yeah,
yeah.
he was killing it for sure.
I was about to say that's where we saw you guys. We were waiting for Jarrett Moan, and he never showed up. But you both went through there, and I don't know if either one of you dabbed. It was pretty sweet. Like we kind of tapped everyone. Like here comes the show. These 2 guys coming through here.
Yeah, that was cool. Got some cool footage in there, and yeah, we were both on it. So I was stoked to make it. And yeah, it was a close one. That might have been my closest top 30 race ever, because that one's always just super stressful. You never know what's going to happen in that one. So
How many times have you made the finals at TKO?
yeah, good question. Me and my dad were just talking about it. My first one was I think 2013 or 14.
Oh wow.
And the very first year I did the whole deal, start to finish. And back then they had one of the Saturday races was 2 laps.
Oh yeah,
And it was
bottlenecks.
longer, gnarlier. And so yeah, I did all Saturday, got into the main, and like back then it was like if you got into the main, you were always in for Sunday. So since then I never rode Saturday again. But so yeah, I made it that year. And I've made it every year except for the first year it was FIM. I didn't make it in. And there was one other year. So I think I've been in it 10 times.
Nice.
I'm not mistaken, 9 or 10 times. So yeah.
Okay, so back to the Kenda Rock Garden waterfall. I've always had this thought. Like when you approach the main, kind of the 2 hits to get up the biggest rock, there's an angled rock before it. is there any way to hit that rock and splatter to the bigger rock? You know what I'm talking about? I used to have orange TKO on it. I've always looked at it. I'm like, I'm just maybe a trials bike, but I was thinking on a big bike.
Yeah, well, I guess maybe if you go to the rock because that angled rock's kind of facing to the left a little bit. So maybe you could jump to that left side, but I feel like if it was possible, somebody like Billy might have probably done it already, but I don't know. I always try to find like a sneaky line in there because I'm really good at looking at lines from my trials background. So I'm always trying to find some line in there, and I always just end up doing the same line right up the center of that big rock. And it's like, I think that's probably just the best way. But yeah, if somebody ever gets a chance to play around in there, I think that might be possible in the dry.
I'd love to see it on a big bike. Like you said, with Billy and Manny and them here a couple of years ago, none of it went down. There was some cool people were getting up on it, doing a stoppy turning, and then going out to the left 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's a good section.
Well, the problem is you're pretty smoked when you get there. I mean, it's not like you're fresh, hitting a trial section first thing.
Yeah, for sure. And usually it's slick in there. They have like those gray limestone rocks in there, and usually there's no traction. Like unlike last weekend, it's like sandpaper.
I remember one of our first TKOs. Like we did that. I don't know if we did the rock garden, but then when we exited this year, we went up to the right to the limestone ledges. I remember like Ricky Russell and those guys wide open in like third gear, couldn't even get up the little transfer hill up to the rock garden. Like Stu Baylor raced it that year, and I think Ricky Russell was there, and it was crazy. They were just coming down and trying to get up it.
I specifically remember that year. I think that was 15. It was one of those years, and it rained real hard. And I remember that because that was the other year I didn't make it in, and so I was watching there. And yeah, like some of the best riders in the world couldn't even get up like a 20-yard hill. It was just pure slime. And I think Paul Wibley was there. That was the end of his race, and some other good guys. So yeah, Caleb Russell. But yeah, that was crazy.
That was one of our first years, and it was like, holy cow, these guys. But back to the main event, P19. So I was counting all the FIM guys, and there was 12 of them that normally I don't think would be here. So, I mean, you take those 12 guys out. I was looking, obviously, selfishly, I was 50th. So, okay, I'm 38th. But, that puts you in the top 10, respectively.
Yeah, I was looking at that, too. And I think I would have got 8th, which would have been a really good finish for me at TKO. Of course, there would have been other American guys in there. So, you don't really know how it would have shaken out. But, I mean, yeah, it would have been a good finish for me. And I was pretty happy with how I rode. I mean, I felt pretty strong. The last lap and a half I was starting to get a little tired, but I actually felt like was pushing this year, and me and Cooper were going back and forth. I actually had, and like, he's really fast in that type of stuff. So yeah, I felt good out there.
Well, to last to the end, Ashburn was up at like 6th or 7th early on, and man, he just threw the anchor out. He's like, that's all I had. He was like, he told me, I was messaged him this week. He, just got 3rd in the XC1 class at GNCC. He goes, wasn't near as hard as TKO weekend. I was like, all right, I'll take it. And it was dry too, so he didn't have to work that hard.
Yeah, right. He's so good in that stuff.
Yeah, it was. So, well, one last thing. Did Alfredo have anything to say about Colton's little ghost ride and getting a position at a little gift there at the end?
Yeah, I was like, I got back to the pits. I was like, so how about that finish? And he's like, yes. He's like, he keeps doing stupid stuff like that. He's like, I'm not gonna say anything. So I was like, yeah, that was definitely pretty crazy what happened there. So yeah,
that sucks.
Well, and it was, man, TKO is always usually our biggest race of the year, and having that FIM, I mean, I think the crowd was as big as it's always been. Seemed like there was as many riders as always, so always an awesome weekend.
Yep. Yeah, it was a good weekend, and hopefully we get some rain next year. I wouldn't mind.
That's what we needed. We kept saying we can't have another dry one, and it's like drier than it's ever been. So,
yeah.
All right, like we started off talking about, a week and a half away for the Lighting Strikes Hard Enduro in Tippecanoe, Ohio. Is that the way you say it?
Yep, Tippecanoe. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I saw it. So it's pretty far northern Ohio. How far are you from there?
I'm about an hour and 20 minutes from where it's at.
All right. So, well, tell us all about it. It's like I said, coming up in a week and a half. You've got a Facebook page that has a very detailed schedule. It's not on Instagram. So I printed it off, looked through it, but kind of give us a rundown. Is this the second year?
Yeah, this is our second year. Last year was part of the fall series. So my first hard enduro I've hosted went well last year and had a lot of good feedback. And I figured, we'll do it again this year and got it on the Eastern U.S. hard enduro schedule. So really happy about that. So yeah, referencing the schedule, we can go over that real quick. I did have last year. I had a really gnarly bottleneck in one of the sections, and I was like, I don't want to do that again this year. So I separated the amateurs and the pro into 2 different days. So that's the big change. Saturday we'll have from B class all the way down to like 4-stroke women. They'll all race Saturday, starting at 11, and they'll have their own track. There won't be any splits out there. There won't be any like pro sections to have to route them around. So there will be, but they'll all be ribboned off. So yeah, so they start at 11, and then after that race, that'll be a 4-hour race, checkpoint style. We'll have 3 remote checkpoints, 1 finish line, so 4 checkpoints total. And then you'll get scored based on your last checkpoint within the time limit. So pretty standard format there. And then so they'll race for 4 hours, and then after their race Saturday evening, we will be doing a prologue, and it'll be head to head, everybody versus each other in the pro class, and that will be on a kind of a short course. It'll be the enduro cross track out in the field, which I've vamped up quite a bit. So it'll be great spectating. We'll run those guys for roughly 30 minutes. So they'll do the enduro cross track. They'll go in the woods. They'll go down a creek, and they'll basically come back up another creek that's right there in the woods. So it'll be pretty short track, probably about a mile, and so that'll be multi-lap. And we are going to put some cash up for that. So we'll have it'll be like a dash for cash, and then it'll also it'll base your starting position for Sunday.
Will that be like a dead engine if there's 20 pros dropping the hammer for 30 minutes?
Yeah. So the way we would start that will be hare scramble style. We'll have a start, and then we'll just drop the hammer, and those guys they'll go at it for a little while. Top 3 we'll get some money for that. And then so we're gonna start in rows of 10 for Sunday and Saturday actually too. Saturday it'll be based on your point standings, and then after that it'll be based on your sign up position. So rows of 10, and for the pros, that prologue will determine where they start, and then for everybody else it will be your point standings in the East. And that way it'll help spread the pack out a little bit versus sending. I think last year we had like 45 sea riders, and that was pretty rough sending them all into the woods at once. So so we're gonna do rows of 10, and you'll be time adjusted. So that should help out a little bit.
Will Mikey be there? The Moto Tally guys scoring like for all the other rounds.
Yep. We'll have Moto Tally there, and thank goodness, because I wouldn't be able to handle any scoring stuff. That's a huge weight off of I'm sure every promoter's shoulders. So that's good. But that'll be Saturday's schedule, and the prologue will be around 5:30. So still be plenty of light and stuff. And you can meet down at the enduro cross track for some good spectating and hopefully some good racing. And then, yeah, moving into Sunday, the pros will start at 11. Pros and A's. And then also there's those new, I guess there's like a 50 plus A, a 40 plus A, and a 30 plus A, I think, vet class. And so all those A classes will race Sunday as well, along with the pro women. So we'll have a couple classes out there for Sunday too, and should help keep a ton of riders off the track and split that up a little bit, and hopefully alleviate any bottlenecks.
No, that's I like it. You know what? The Sear races were great, but it was like dead engine. All the gold guys. Here you go, boys. Have fun.
Mm-hmm.
So splitting it up and doing that, especially splitting the races in half, is pretty cool. So first of all, since what we were just talking about with TKO, you guys gotten any rain? We're as dry. We had it rained Sunday here, Will, maybe a little bit, but it's all gone now.
Yeah, it was slick for about 2 days. I got a wet ride in, and then we rode today, and it was as dry as it was prior to the rain. So it's gone.
Yeah, I think it's a whole East Coast drought because it's crazy dry up here. And we even got some rain a couple days ago too, and like you wouldn't even be able to tell. Ground just soaked it up instantly. So we do have some pretty crazy traction out at Lightning. Some people will like that. But yeah, it's going to be tough to make it it's going to be tough to get it to the toughness level that I want it for the pros with it being that dry. So I do hope we get a little bit of rain. If not, though, Lightning has a water truck, and we're going to help out the creeks a little bit.
Oh, boy.
So
I don't like that.
We might put a little water in the creeks to add some slickness out there, but I don't know yet. We'll see.
Well, I saw you made some posts on some different features, and there was one, I think it was called the wall. It sounds like it was from last year. Is there a way around the wall? Because it looked like it was ribboned off. Like you got to go up the damn thing.
Yeah, so good question. I probably should have posted a secondary picture with the split, but there is a split. There's a lot of cool rock features at this place. So I'm like, I got to use these rocks. So if you approach a big wall and you're like, wow, I can't do that, most likely there's probably a way around it. So there will be some splits out there, but they will all be optional. Whether it's in Saturday or Sunday, like I'm going to have that wall in for Saturday, just in case any B riders are feeling sendy, but they'll definitely go around it. All the roundabout ways are going to be rideable, and they will take more time. Usually anywhere from like 30 seconds to a minute slower. So, that should encourage the top guys to at least take a couple of those tougher split lines. So yeah, we got the wall, which was a good section last year. The pros ripped right up it, no problem. We definitely had a couple good crashes on it too. And then we actually have another wall that's in another part of the track, another big trialsy looking rock. So the way around that will be off to the left also, a little bit slower. So we got a lot of cool rock features out there. And yeah, if you're not feeling it, then there should be a roundabout way.
Like I said, I looked at that and I was like, okay, the ribbon to the left touches the rock, the ribbon to the right touches the rock. I don't know where to go.
Yeah.
Well, so how long is the course? That's like I said, I wasn't there. We didn't make it last year.
Yeah, so I don't have a whole heck of a lot of property to work with, but the course is roughly about 6.5, 7 miles. I haven't measured it this year yet, but that's what it was last year. And it took me about 40, I think it took me about 50 minutes to make a lap. And that was, pretty much at race pace. So that was kind of my goal. I was trying to get at least above like 45-minute lap times for the top guys. So that should leave the A's through B's, somewhere around a little over an hour. So yeah, that's kind of what we got going there. I've used every bit of the property that I can to make it as long as I can. But yeah, it should be good.
Well, so I know the Husky KTM group guys aren't allowed to do anything that wasn't a premier round. I think they're all enduro cross focused. How's signups been? Normally I'd put my money on you, but obviously you can't race in this instance.
Yeah. So signups are rolling in. It's not bad. I haven't actually got a total, but I see them come through my email. So yeah. And last year most of the signups came a couple days before, and the day of actually. So I'm feeling pretty good about the signups. As far as pro riders, I know we'll have James Flynn, Logan Balapew. We should have like most of the East Coast guys, Mason George, Gage Key, Gage. Yeah, so I think we should have those guys. And I'm trying to think who I'm missing.
Let's call out Nick Farringer, see if he still knows how to do this. I was
about to say, I think Farringer's coming.
Okay. He might have a baby on the way, though. I don't know when that thing's due.
I'll text him right now. We'll see if he's coming.
Yeah, well, he needs some baby money, so we got a good purse. So.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, Will, that needs to be the sales pitch. Colin Farringer, you need a little baby money.
All right, I'm texting right now that exact.
I already texted Pat Smaggi. I think he's out, unfortunately. He hasn't been doing too much enduro riding, but yeah, we'll see. Unfortunately, we are going up against the Beckley GNCC, which, it is what it is. There's not enough weekends in the year to go around all that stuff. But, at this point, we're our own sport. So if you're a hard enduro guy, then you'll be here.
I like it. Well, and it looked like they got some rain up at wherever they raced this past weekend, somewhere in West Virginia, and then it turned out perfect on Sunday. But I was hoping you guys might have got that rain that came through there.
No, that was actually in Indiana, the buckwheat, I think.
Oh, okay.
It was. So yeah, that missed us. So yeah, we're still pretty bone dry.
Man. All right. Well, Will, what else you got? How's the camping situation? Like I said, I've never been to the property. The plan is to be there. Hopefully we can make it happen.
Yeah, for sure. There's tons of room, 2 giant fields. You could park 3 US hard enduro events there. So bring your camper, bring your 5th wheel, whatever you want to bring. It's kind of just like a rolling field. So you might not have the most level area, but if you got jacks on your rig, that'll be good. So yeah, plenty of camping, plenty of parking. Yeah, that should be a good for parking and camping. We have there is no camping fee, so if you do want to come camp, it's just primitive, no camping fee. It's just a per day fee, basically.
All right, that's cool.
All right,
that's like. Go ahead,
Nick says if Carly isn't looking to push the baby out early, I'll be there to play. So there you go.
All right.
Well, hopefully he comes out.
Yeah, it'd be good to see. I hadn't seen him. He said he was thinking about coming down for TKO, and then I don't know. Life got in the way, or wasn't feeling it. I can't remember what his words were.
Well, it'll be his. If it doesn't rain, the track will be right up his alley, so he could take home some good money.
Dude, I don't know. Balapew's been riding really well.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a good race between him and James and whoever else we get out there. So it should be good, hopefully.
All right. Well,
Quinn, you got any plans for the second weekend in November?
Hate
to put you on the spot like this.
As of now, I don't know. I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't had anything. I haven't looked at my schedule lately, but.
All right, we're trying to put together another American Hard Enduro ride weekend. So
okay,
put that one down. Maybe you can get down here and show us what's up. We got a bunch of new sections.
It's at Windrock.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a sweet place. So I definitely would like to do that if I don't have anything on the schedule.
Are you doing Endurocross this fall?
I don't think so. We might go maybe do one round if it fits in, but yeah, not on the schedule. Just gonna wrap up these Eastern hard enduros, and then maybe Ozark 100. But yeah,
Nice.
that's kind of my plan, is just kind of take it easy the end of the year here and start prepping for next year.
So after your race, we've got, I guess, JoJo's race. Is that right?
Yeah, Arkansas. Kington? I had it pulled up a minute ago.
Yeah. Buffalo Extreme.
I thought I had it on the wall. Maybe not.
I think his is actually an exhibition race, so it's
Okay.
not points paying, but everybody should still go because it is one of the sickest areas I've ever ridden. And he puts on a cool track.
Nice.
Cody just said he will not be there. Sorry, he said he's not coming. I'm like,
yeah, I already tried to get Cody to come, and he was like him hawing, and I was like, oh, maybe he might come, but nah, he just had some surgery. So
oh god, he said his wrist was worse than they thought. So
yeah,
I don't know. He looked bad at TKO. He was moving slow for sure.
Hey, he looked good in the prologue though.
He gave it his all. Oh, Quinn, I was on my list. How was the Nashville prologue?
Oh yeah, so yeah, that was really sick. I've made it both times. I've been an alternate both times, and I've had to qualify my way in. So I was pretty stoked to make it in. But yeah, it was. I mean, it's just a crazy experience. Like that's probably one of the coolest things you can say you got to do on a dirt bike. Ride in downtown Nashville and under the lights on Broadway. So yeah, pretty crazy experience. I was feeling good there. I mean, I actually again, I felt like I was actually competing and not just out there getting around. So it was cool. I was feeling good. So yeah, I was stoked to be a part of that.
Who did you have to go up against in like the qualifier part of it?
So there was 5 alternates, and there was only 2 spots available to get in. So it was me, Ashton Brightmore, and we're the ones who made it in. So we had to go up against Ryder Guest, Quelo Huddy, the 2 Hawaiians, and then that I'm gonna mess his name up. Rutherford Chug. What's his name?
Yeah.
Rutherford, something like that. Yeah, so he was moving pretty good too. But yeah, I ended up getting a faster time, so made it in. So that was again kind of stressful, but that was also fun.
How about those Brightman kids? How freaking good are they?
Yeah, I mean, holy crap. They came out of nowhere, huh? Like,
yeah,
both just, and they're good at endurocross and hard enduro. So, yeah, it's pretty wild. I feel like they're gonna burst onto the scene pretty hard next year and surprise some people.
Yeah, they're gonna be winning some races in no time.
No doubt.
All right. Well, so before we get off here, let's get ourselves in trouble, or at least Will and I can. What silly season news you got, Quinn? Get yourself in trouble. You heard anything good rolling around the pits? I mean, it's like Colton basically said that was his last hard enduro and not so many words and some actions, I think.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm pretty in the dark. I think all I've heard that is pretty substantial news is that Gas is folding, which, that's Will Reardon. So I don't know anything set in stone, but that's kind of some big news. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen there, but I think I don't really know anything. So I'm kind of in the dark with you guys, but I don't really know what my deal is going to be for next year either. So hope to come back with Rieju, but nothing is signed yet. So we will see.
What you got, Drew?
Well, the gas one's the biggest one that I think's been running around, and Will's out of a ride. And what I thought was going to happen was all of the colors of KTM were going to go to one rider. Like Ryder's re-signed, Tristan's obviously re-signed, and I thought they'd keep Will because I heard Colton didn't get re-signed, and he's looking to do something endurocross, and I'd heard possibly Triumph, but I don't think that's going to happen. Or not this year Endurocross. He's still in Husky, but next year. And then I heard some people have been trying to get on Beta, but I don't think any of that's come to fruition from what I've heard.
Yeah, I've heard some big names might be talking to Beta too, but that's all hearsay. So yeah, we need some more two-strokes in the game.
No doubt. Well, it's going to be interesting with all the news about KTM Husky and their stock price and all that. And I had a question. I was going to ask you about what your deal was for next year. So you're still up in there as well.
Yep, still up in the air, and I'll be at the races one way or another. But yeah, I hope to have some support again through Rieju. So definitely been a big help.
Well, it seems like the bikes, I know the first year, and correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like you definitely had some growing pains. And then this year they've been a lot more, I don't want to say reliable, but you figured out what needs attention and what doesn't. You haven't had, I don't think, many DNFs and gotten through a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we've been coming along pretty well. And it's not that the bike's not reliable or anything. It's just we've had to figure out the hard way on a lot of things, what works, what doesn't work, and just small things failing like head O-rings and what coolant to run, just small stuff like that. But yeah, so it's been a lot better. The bike's awesome. I mean, it is a good bike. It's carbureted. It's just an old school 2-stroke, and it runs great. Engines are bulletproof. So yeah, I've been really happy with the bike, definitely. So we learn more every race pretty much, and we're just trying to apply that and be better each round.
No, very good. Well, Will, you got anything else? I don't silly season wise, I don't think there's much else to talk about.
I think there's one more bit of news that's going to hit pretty soon with Sear.
I don't know what you're talking about. I can't talk about anything.
Okay.
Nope.
Well, maybe by the time this podcast comes out, there'll be some news about that. So hopefully we'll have more races.
Yeah, hopefully we could use some, but we got to support the races we got for sure for now.
Exactly.
So, well, Quinn, man, thank you for the time, and I guess that's it.
Yeah, thank you guys. If anybody out there is looking for more info on the Lightning race, there's a Facebook event page called Lighting Strikes Hard Enduro, and all the info gets posted on there. So, and you guys can always reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook or anything like that. So I usually pretty good about getting back.
All right. Well, hey, one more thing. Can I be a grumpy old man and complain? Why is the race starting so late on Sunday for those of us that have a long drive?
Well, I guess my main reason for starting it at 11 was because people last year I couldn't even start on time because there were so many people in line trying to sign up and trying to sign in, and that was last year. So I suppose we could probably start it earlier, being it split in half. But that's kind of why I did that. I didn't put too much thought into that. And then also with the prologue being like Friday night, kind of late in the day, I wanted to make sure everybody had enough time to prepare the pros, I should say.
Well, Drew wakes up at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. every day, so he's ready to roll.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be done racing by 11. We could be.
That's true, and that's
those old man problems.
Yeah, well, dude, I guess if I'm going to change it, I should do it quickly, so everybody knows.
Way to go, Kirby.
All right. Well, no, it was just a thought because I was trying to make some plans. It's like 7.5 hours. And the other question I had, is it Eastern time zone or is it Central?
It's Eastern. Yeah.
Real time.
So that'll give you an extra hour.
Yeah. So that always helps. That weird time zone goes up, and I think it like cuts over and then goes up at Louisville. So I didn't know. I want to make sure we weren't getting caught off guard.
Yep. No, it's pretty dead center Eastern. So, yeah.
All right, man. Well, Quinn, thanks for your time, man. We hopefully see you here in about a week and a half.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you guys. Appreciate you having me on, and hope to see everybody out there.
All right, sounds
Sweet.
good.
Thanks, Quinn.